If it's excessively hot outside, just seek shelter. Make sure you've got plenty of fluids, seek shelter. And if you want to go for that run or if you want to go for that walk, do it very early in the morning or do it very late in the evening. Again, I think common sense has to prevail, but don't underestimate nature.
5 tourists, including Dr. Michael Mosley, have died while visiting Greece over the last couple of weeks, and 3 others are still missing. The authorities have issued an urgent warning to travellers after temperatures soared above 40 Celsius, and people are being urged not to underestimate the toll that extreme heat takes on the body. Let's talk to Damien Bailey, Professor of Physiology and Biochemistry at the University of South Wales. Damien, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Why is it, you think, that people underestimate what the heat does to us? Is it simply that we're just not used to it and we take it far too lightly?
Yeah, I certainly think as far as Brits, there's a cultural gap, if you like. We don't often see sunny climes, perhaps in the UK. And when we are in sunnier climes, we completely underestimate the power of nature.
So at what point does heat become dangerous? Is it anything above 30 Celsius?
Well, I mean, we typically define a heat wave here in the UK as any temperature above 21 degrees centigrade. Now, we've seen these scorching heat waves ripping through Europe at the moment with temperatures above 40 degrees centigrade. In Mecca, it was at 51 degrees centigrade. And of course, as the temperature rises, the excess deaths associated with heat stroke, heat-related deaths increase. So any temperature above your body temperature, which is 37 degrees centigrade, it becomes very difficult for us as humans to thermoregulate and to control our body temperatures. And we've got to take many, many precautions in doing so.
Okay, tell us about the precautions we all need to take.
Well, we need to just seek shelter from the heat if it's excessively hot. The temperatures that we see at the moment in Greece, for example, we shouldn't really be out in the heat. Look for the shade. I mean, we are the sweatiest apes, big apes of them all, of course. We've got 10 times more eccrine sweat glands than macaques and chimpanzees, and we sweat a lot. But in order to sweat, we require to be drinking fluids. So drinking fluids avidly to increase that convective conductive heat loss is really important. Don't just start drinking when you feel thirsty. That's already too late. Cooling down, taking off socks and shoes, staying indoors, well-ventilated areas. And again, this talks to the importance of houses, which in the UK aren't terribly well designed in order to cope with excess heat. It's more focused on keeping us warm in the colder months.
Well, that's the body. Thank you for that. What impact does the heat have on the brain?
Well, the brain is the neural governor, if you like. Every other organ is a slave to the master. Inside your brain, you've got a small diamond-shaped structure known as the hypothalamus, and this is our thermostat. Just like you and I have got a thermostat at home, this is a very, very high-resolution, finely tuned thermostat. So the brain, your brain, is constantly tasting the blood as it runs through the hypothalamus and can detect changes in temperature as low as 0.01 degrees centigrade. Now, when it does get too hot, as the blood flow increases and changes to the brain and the body senses this increase in temperature, we get this whole defense mechanism that is activated. So sweating, we want to remove ourselves from the hot temperatures. And we see an increase in ventilation. And actually, paradoxically, because of this increase in ventilation, we see a decrease in blood flow to the brain. And that decrease in blood flow is important because we think that's linked to making the wrong decisions in the heat and why we feel a bit tired and lazy, the
Yeah.
hot, lazy summer days.
Yeah, but I mean, it does indicate that perhaps some of us might just overrate our ability to cope with the heat. And really, you're saying just keep out of it, stay in the shade, stay in the house.
Absolutely. I think when in doubt, sit it out. You really need to be very careful. We can be as physiologically conditioned, by the way, that's one of the best ways, best interventions to improve our resilience to heat. The more conditioned we are, the fitter we are, the better. But still, if it's excessively hot outside, just seek shelter. Make sure you've got plenty of fluids. Seek shelter. And if you want to go for that run or if you want to go for that walk, do it very early in the morning or do it very late in the evening. Again, I think common sense has to prevail, but don't underestimate nature. We want people to enjoy the temperatures, but just respect those temperatures because the body, make no bones about it, is working excessively hard in order to maintain blood flow to the brain and to maintain what we call homeostasis, normal body temperature.
Good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. That's Damien Bailey, Professor of Physiology and Biochemistry at the University of South Wales.
Ahí en la esquina, arriba. Sí.